Today we're on an anniversary hike with my dad, whose birthday would have been today if he was still alive. I always go visit him at the Veterans Memorial. And then I'll come out here and give him a little tribute hike. So today, this one's for him. My dad was my biggest hero and motivator in my life. I didn't look up to no sports figure, no movie star, no nothing. It was always my dad. I'm glad I always had my dad in my life because he taught me what it meant to be a man, what it meant to be a warrior, and pretty much made me everything in who I am today. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be half the person I am, half the man I am. I definitely wouldn't be the warrior that I am. You should always pay respects to those that came before you. No matter if it's your recent bloodline that is passed on, or if it's even your ancestors, ones you've never seen or met. Always respect them, always pay tribute to them. Part of who you are comes from them. They live on through you. So that's something you definitely need to respect. That's where your true power comes from. Believe it or not, my dad was an old timer when I was born. He was in World War II. Sounds crazy, but it's fact. I remember when I was a kid, all these different war stories he used to tell me about seeing his friends get stepping on landmines. He seen his friend get ran over by a tank, like crazy stuff. He had to drink bloody river water when he was in the jungle because bodies would fall into the stream upriver and the river would be red. They had to try to push the water back and scoop it into their canteen. All kinds of stuff. He said that the Japanese said that when they parachuted in, they wasn't going to shoot soldiers until they hit the ground. And he said they lied and they were shooting guys while they was coming down in their parachutes. All kinds of stuff. But when he used to tell me these things, I mean, as a little kid, of course, it used to like blow my mind. It sounds crazy. It sounds like stuff you see in movies and stuff, but it always gave me the perspective in life that if my dad could go through that and survive, he could overcome anything. Which makes me feel like I can overcome anything. So anytime I had a challenge, I remember the stories and the stuff he would say, and that would motivate me to overcome any task. I would compare it to the task he faced. And I said, well, if he overcame that, I can overcome anything. A lot of the things that I have learned, that I teach and apply today, I got from my dad. No matter if it was military type stuff or if it was street smarts. He was from DC. And because, of course, he was much older, he was, you know, in the old days, old school. He came from a family of 14 kids. And like the simple things in regards to street smarts, like they would do. Like he would say, if they went to the store, they would send the kids out to the store 2 at a time. A few minutes later, another 2 would go to the store. A few minutes later, another 2 would go to the store. So if anybody encountered trouble or problem en route to the store, 1 to 2 minutes later, another 2 would be behind them, and another 2 minutes later, another 2 would be behind them. So basically, if you ran up on anybody, you was going to wind up probably getting stomped out and jumped because the rest of the crew would be coming periodically. And it's simple things like that that are, you know, that were so cool that it used to teach me. And even, like I said, even to this day, a lot of the things I do, no matter if it's like street self-defense and concepts, or if it's more wilderness type stuff, a lot of it I learned from him. He was a wealth of knowledge. The guy just ran past us maybe 5 minutes ago, going in the opposite direction we were going in. And all of a sudden he just came walking up behind us with his hand in his pocket. So I stopped to make it look like we were sightseeing the other path across from us to give him a chance to walk by. Because he was looking a little too squirrely and I didn't trust him, especially with his hand in his pocket. But he walked on past. There was no incident. But you just got to be aware of your surroundings all the time. Any environment. Urban, rural, woods. Another uprooted tree.
And it has
Yeah. A guy just ran past us maybe 5 minutes ago, going in the opposite direction we were going in, and all of a sudden he just came walking up behind us with his hand in his pocket. So I stopped to make it look like we were sightseeing the other path across from us to give him a chance to walk by, because he was looking a little too squirrely and I didn't trust him, especially with his hand in his pocket. But he walked on past. There was no incident. But you just got to be aware of your surroundings at all times. Any environment. Urban, rural, woods, whatever. You got to be aware of your environment for anything.
I heard him back there. I'm like, but you know, normally when people walking by you, they're, you know, talking or they're chatty or whatever. Or if you hear them running, you can hear them running. You can tell the feet pattern. But he wasn't saying anything. He was just walking.
Yeah.
So that's what made me turn around. I was like, okay, I need to see what this dude looked like. And the fact that he had a hood over his head and he had his hand in his pocket, I'm like, yeah. Okay.
Body language. Awareness, situational awareness.
And that's why I did like
standing and assessing. Yeah. Cleared the way and allowed him to pass. That's how you do it. Yeah, that's the individual in question right there that we were just talking about. He ran past us going in the other direction a while ago. Then all of a sudden he came walking up behind us at a high rate of speed with the hood on and his hands in his pocket, which is very abnormal, especially after having already ran through here in the other direction. So we kind of stepped aside on the path and made it look like we were sightseeing the track while giving him clear avenue to pass us, which he did, and there was no incident. But you just got to be aware of your surroundings at all times. Going into some of the concepts of walking on trails and paths. You know, there's pros and cons to walking to the inside as opposed to walking to the outside. We got rocks out here, so you can cause scarring and displacement. Basically stepping in the rocks, kicking the rocks, leaving footprints can leave something that someone that's tracking you could follow, leaving a trail. So if you don't want to leave footprints, you gotta walk accordingly to where you won't leave footprints. Using the outside, you got to worry about what's in the tree line. Could be animals, could be a person, anything. If you're in the middle, if something wants to attack you, it has to come to the middle of the path, which gives you a little bit of reactionary time as opposed to being on the edge. It has to cover that distance, so you can get your critical distance right and get yourself some kind of defensive measures going on. Also noise. These rocks make noise walking through them. You walk slower, you make no noise. You walking faster, of course, you're going to make noise. There's a pros and cons to if you need silence in your movement. If you need to move more so undetected, it's going to take you longer moving slower to make less noise. When you move fast, you make noise. But also, if you need to get into a low position, if you're trying to be covert or keep your profile down, anytime you're trying to be covert, stay low, stuff like that, you'll be moving slower doing that. When you move faster, you usually have to get in a more upright position. If you're trying to hit a certain pace, you gotta stand upright, you gotta be tall in order to move fast. When you get low, you can move slow, quiet, undetected, but that's the whole point. You're gonna be moving slow. It's gonna be more time consuming.
We've come across geese. At least I think they're geese. Look like ducks.
Alright, scanning and assessing in a woodland or forested environment. 3 levels that I'm checking. First is the ground, as far as where I'm walking. Secondary is directly in front of me, on the path of the area to my sides, to my rear. above the tree line. In each of these, I'm not just looking ahead, like I said, I'm also checking my flanks, and I periodically check my rear, my 6 o'clock. I break it down into 3 levels for various reasons. Number 1, the ground, the lowest level, where I'm stepping. I don't want to step in holes. I don't want to trip over tree roots. I don't want to step on a sunbathing snake, anything like that. So that's what I'm looking for. Also, if I don't want to leave footprints, scarring and displacement, or make noise, all those type of things like I discussed previous, I'm watching where I'm walking. So I may walk to the middle, I may walk to the edge, I may change my pattern of where I'm walking. I may not want to walk through mud, leave footprints. So that's why I'm checking the ground. And I'm also checking the ground level around me and behind me as well, because I don't know what could be around me. People could be hiding, there could be animals around me I need to be aware of, whatever the situation may be. Same thing for middle. I'm looking at the path up ahead, I'm looking in through the tree line around me. I have water to my side. And then I'm also checking my rear. Still standing and assessing, like I said, for any threats, any obstacles, and just overall situational awareness. If something's out there, at least if it's going to approach me or moving in on me, I can see it. If I'm closing in on an animal and I don't want to startle it, I can act in accordance with that. Finally, is above. Checking the tree line. The limbs overhanging the path, specifically. Snakes being trees. If there's a snake up there, I at least want to know. I don't want a snake, rattlesnake or something. I don't even know if they go in trees, but anyways, I don't want snakes falling on me out of the trees. I know some snakes do go in trees. I don't know if they all do. Don't get me lying. But I wouldn't want no snakes falling on me. I gotta watch out for, we do have old limbs and stuff that fall off these trees. Like if you look ahead, you'll see that tree leaning across the path there. I want to be cognizant of what's going on above me. The trees, the overhang, anything that may fall on me or anything that I may be approaching. So those are the 3 levels. Ground level, 360 degrees. Directly in front of me and around me, 360 degrees on my trail or my path. And then above me in the tree line. Checking the tree line too. I've never seen this swollen before with water. Never ever seen it this high.
There was a storm last night.
Oh yeah, we had gotten rain last couple days. That's probably why. And that's probably why the path is so flooded too. Interesting. It's never been this marshy and flooded back here. So we've been literally walking this whole muddy path, trying to get around the quicksand-like mud patches, and without leaving footprints and stuff. A little gain to test our navigational skills. She went around this way on this one and made it through fine. But I think I'm going to try this way where I see it's dry at. Though I might leave footprints, but I won't sink in that. So let's see if I can do this. Yeah. Yeah, see? Not walking through that. We got on boots and stuff, but we're still not going to walk through that. Now, I'm stuck here because this is all soft. Even in front of me it's soft. So I'm going to venture off a little bit to get around it, but I don't really like doing this because I want to see where I'm stepping. The path is where you want to stay, so you don't step on something that you don't want to step on and get bit. A little soft, but I made it through. Feet relatively dry. Yeah, this is bad right here. Godly. Yeah. One aspect of getting past obstacles, I'll go back to ninjutsu. If you can't go through it, you go over it. If you can't go through or over, you go under. If you can't go through, over, or under, you try to go around. But usually, in some form or fashion, you will find a way. So that's a little concept as far as facing obstacles goes. Can't go through, over, can't go over or under. Can't go through, over or under, try to go around. Circumvent. Oh man, that's kind of deep. I gotta choose between mud and water. She chose water. I'm gonna take the mud this time, even though I'm leaving footprints, which is a no-no. Yeah, that was deep, and I did leave a big old footprint. She didn't leave any prints, don't look like. Don't try to outclass me.